Hello, welcome back to the MMA Split Pick Show. Following the excitement of UFC 277, we have got an excellent fight night card, headlined by the rising Jamal Hill against the veteran Thiago Santos. This is also, however, the Ultimate Fighter finale. So we have got some great fights, and then we've also got the two finals.
And if you
Juliana
haven't seen
Miller.
the series yet, right there.
I have watched all of the series. It was by no means one of the strongest,
Oh, get
both
out of
in
town. Get
entertainment
out of town.
value
With
or in.
the lower contracts in Contender Series has diminished the quality of Ultimate Fighter. Who saw that coming?
Yeah.
Not
Well,
ESPN.
it has in both entertainment value and fighter quality. However, there is one fighter in each of the finals that I think actually has some promise. They will be my picks. We will be discussing them as it goes on, and plenty of other good fights to get to. If you are enjoying the content, please do leave a like on the video, subscribe if you are not subscribed, and if you want to drop your own picks in the comment section and you do better than we do, we will give you a shout out next week. You have to just do the whole card though. You can't just do the main card. It's cheating. We'd all do brilliantly if it was just the main card. It gets tricky when you've got to figure out fighters that have had two professional fights before and one fight in the UFC, and you're trying to do a pick for them. That's where it gets complicated.
Yeah. We interviewed Eric Anders. We made Eric Anders pick against us. We had a 3-way tie because we only did the main card. It just doesn't work.
Exactly. Now, as you can see, there is still no Sly because, as you will have already known, if you listen to the podcast, we have killed him. He is no longer with us, but we tortured him first so that he gave us his picks for this week. So he will be involved. Josh is obviously now winning quite commandingly. Has a 3.5 point lead.
Yes, no, 2.5 point lead. But I think we've got 5 weeks left, so I think a 2-week. If I get this week, I've only got to win one more week, basically.
Pretty much.
The money's mine, and I get to
just
pick
between me and Sly for the punishment.
Yeah, I'm picking the fucking nightmarish, hellish ordeal for one of you to go through. Which obviously, I'm pretty sure I'm just going to make someone sing a Bournemouth song on the podcast.
But that would be way lighter than what I'm going to make.
No. If I win. Properly. I'm not talking about 5 seconds of half-hearted singing. I mean, like a minute and a half of bellowing it out. We might edit it down to just the most embarrassing parts, but I'm going to want a full fucking rendition.
Well, that would be far anything I would make the list to do if I was to win this picture season. So you are a good man on that one. Now, I have just lost Josh, so I do not know if he's still recording.
I am still recording. I am still
it's
here.
It's a mystery.
Let me see if I can get myself back.
Absolute mystery. So I'm just going to keep stalling. I don't know if he's still on the air.
I'm still on the air. You're still watching. We don't edit these things out anymore.
But I also don't imagine that Josh does a lot of editing. So this is what you're going to get. A stoned man at 8:47 talking to himself into a camera that people may or may not be listening to, which effectively is the entire basis of YouTube. It's how most people make their money on YouTube.
We were perfectly in sync there. Can
there
you hear
he
me
is.
again?
I can kind of see him, but he's frozen. But he's got a laugh on his face, which means he can hear me.
We're definitely
now,
not
if he can hear
this.
me, that means that we're still recording, which means that this effort has not been in vain. However, the last time that this happened, Josh lost power, and that's when everything went wrong. So we got to hope that that doesn't happen. And he's clearly already tried to reconnect once, and it hasn't worked. Now, the interesting part is that I know that you guys can now hear me, but I don't know if Josh is talking at the same time. I'm assuming that he's being recorded as well. So it might just be two idiots talking over each other, or Josh just again on this picture because it's 10-9 for us at the time of recording this. So we're just going to keep going. Hello, Josh. I can see you again.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to cut there just because your video feed has dropped off on OBS. Which is insane because it's the exact same video feed. Alright.
I think it's time that we crack on before technology fails us again. And we should crack on because we've got a hell of a main event to talk about. We've got Jamal Hill, Detroit's finest, Only blemish on his record, similar to the Ankalaev that we just talked about on the previous weekend's action, is a loss
Big
to
man.
Paul Craig. I know that there's also a no contest, but it's for weed. Like, if we're really going to count disqualifications for weed, then what the fuck are we talking about? The guy is like 12-1, not 11-1-1, as far as I'm concerned. And he's got knockout power. He's got a great attitude. He's got good jiu-jitsu. He can defensively wrestle. And he has taken out guys easily that you don't associate as being guys that you can take out easily.
Yeah, well, he's also got
I love
solid
Jamal Hill.
footwork, but he really, really comes alive when people give him the distance and the time to kind of measure himself, because he. It sounds stupid, it sounds simple, right? But when you need to take a small step, he takes a small step. When you need to take a big step, he takes a big step. He's always measuring distance well and allowing you to walk into his danger zone. And honestly, I think against an aging Maheta, shit, this is Jamal's to lose. I think he might eat him alive, you know?
Santos hasn't looked the same since the Jones fight, man.
Nah.
The injuries, the double surgery on the knees, all the time out. You know, the way he came back against Glover, you know, the fight against Johnny Walker was very, very poor. I know he won it, but it wasn't a good performance from him. Against Ankalaev, I know Ankalaev's good, but it's very easy to win a boring fight for him. And the other problem is even if he was the same as he is, he's been around for long enough where there is kind of a blueprint on him. Even Santos at 100%, you know what he's going to do. He throws, you know, long winding hooks. He winds up. He blitzes forward. But Hill's that new guy, man. He's younger. He's durable. He's aggressive. He has that nastiness, like not in a bad way. He's got that nastiness where he's throwing strikes to hurt people. He's throwing strikes to knock people out and end the fight. He's not throwing strikes to get points. And really,
rather than load up, he just positions himself well. Like sometimes these heavy shots almost come out of nowhere. But if you weren't paying attention to the build-up, it probably did seem that way. He works a man well with the angles and the footwork. He's a very intelligent fighter, to be fair.
Yeah. I see several ways he wins this. I could see him landing a perfect counter if Thiago Santos tries to blitz him. I could see if Santos tries to sit back, I could see him just using his length and reach, throwing straight shots, picking them apart and hurting him. I definitely think this is a KO. I don't think Santos gets to the final round. And how old is he now? 37, 38?
38, I think.
38. He's
with a young kid.
He's had a long career. He's slowed down. And he just feels like there's so much extra weight on him that I don't know if it's really helping him out at this point in his career. I think it's just creating some more pressure on joints, more injuries. He's slower.
Yeah. Guy with a capoeira base trying to do shit when you weigh that much. Well, not that he really does that kind of nonsense too much these days, but yeah. I'm going Hill KO. Feels like the sensible bet. I think have we all gone Hill KO?
We're all united. We've all gone Hill KO.
Something about a couple.
Going on in the same direction. Right, let's talk about our co-main events. Jeff Neal, big step up for him. Second big step up, a third really big step up if he's killed the Neil Magny and the Wonderboy fights. Yep. He is taking on Vicente Luque, obviously coming off the loss to Bilal Muhammad. Not the best performance from Vicente Luque by any stretch of the imagination there. He is very hungry to show everybody that he is still championship contender worthy. This is a tough night for Jeff, man. I've got to be honest. Like, is he a good enough grappler to do what Bilal did to Vicente? I really don't think so.
No, if you want to fight Superman, bring the kryptonite. Jeff Neal just doesn't have it. Jeff Neal's
He's not going to outstrike him.
Yep. He's going to get eaten alive on the feet. And it's just going to get to a point where Luque can take this fight wherever he wants to finish. I particularly think it's probably going to go decision. But he could submit him or knock him out, honestly. Luque is a monster.
It's a confidence thing as well, man. Like, I don't think Luque's confidence will be knocked by the loss. I think he'll take a lot of good learning points from the Bilal Muhammad fight. Jeff Neal hasn't seemed confident in some of his wins recently. I don't know
What?
what it is about the guy. Like he's had a lot go on. He had the hospitalization, he had the arrest that he's been dealing with. Like there's been a lot of pressure, but it just doesn't quite seem. I don't know. Like I was really excited when he knocked out Mike Perry. I thought there's something here, and the more I've seen him fight, the less I think that he's really going to make that break in at the top, if you know what I mean. And not just from a skills ability, from a mentality ability.
Yeah, he kind of needs to tag you early and often. If he's not hurting you and breaking you that way, he just kind of gets outclassed a little bit. Uh,
Plus, he's not very big for the division. He hasn't got
he's
height
not
on his
huge, but
side.
he has got power. But he hasn't got the technical ability to land that power at will. You need to make mistakes, even if you get in up close. Like Wonderboy was fighting him in a phone box and just damaging him at
Yeah.
will. It was ugly. Obviously, Luke
And to be
lost to
honest,
Wonderboy as well, but that was a different Wonderboy and that was a different Luke. I think that
well,
might
this
still
is
be
what
the
I was.
same Jeff Neal.
Yeah, this is what I was going to say. Because really, I know he won that fight, but that was kind of when you look back at it, that was sort of signs that Wonder Boy isn't quite Wonder Boy anymore in that Jeff Neal fight.
Yeah, I mean the big one for me was like I picked against Wonderboy on the basis that it was in the Apex, it was the smaller octagon, and that was the one where I realised actually the smaller octagon does not favour the pressure fighter, it favours the counter striker because they're just
I
constantly in their comfort zone, in their wheelhouse, given opportunity after opportunity to make something happen.
I don't know. I've thought about that a lot, and I'm not 100% sure. I think like anything, space is about what you do with it. I just think in that fight that Jeff Neal wasn't good enough to put the kind of pressure he needed to in the smaller cage. If you see what I mean. Had he done that, he may have found it easier. And I think if you look at something like certainly the Wonderboy Bilal fight, I think that was a great example where applying that pressure in the smaller cage with a grappling heavy style massively favored Bilal in a way that I'm not sure if
Yeah.
it would have done if it was in
Well,
a full size octagon.
also Bilal was the first guy that I could really see making takedowns count against Wonderboy um, in the open mat. Because honestly, like if you try to take Wonderboy down in the open mat, it's impossible. But Bilal made that happen. So I've got a dog intertwined between my legs, threatening to bark. I don't think he will.
Wagging
He
his
usually
tail.
barks. It's probably a sign of a good episode. No Sly and a barking Otis. I'm kidding, Sly. I love you really. He'll be back next week. We didn't kill him. He's not dead. All right. Hey, which direction did Sly go in on this one? I got a feeling.
Oh, we've all gone Luke. We've all gone Luke. He's
God
gone
damn it.
KO, and you and I have gone decision.
Seems sensible. 3 round fight. Luke is just a fucking technician at times. As violent as he can be, he got a very high fight IQ. It's just I kind of see it like men fighting children a little bit in terms of where their technical ability, where their fight IQ is. Plus, Luke has just got so many
Also, dude,
weapons.
even if Jeff Neal makes this a dogfight, man, who beats Luke in a dogfight?
Very few. Very few. I mean, Jesus
You know,
Christ,
that's that.
when he came through on the Ultimate Fighter, there was an argument to be made for him fighting in place of Usman to represent the Black Zillions. And that's when he was like fucking 23 or something.
That's what's so crazy about him, man. He's only 30.
He's a monster.
He's a young man. He's a very good fighter. I think he wins. I think he puts on a show. Which takes us to the tough finalists. Okay, so I've got to have a rant first and foremost. I can have this rant because you, even if you haven't seen all of The Ultimate Fighter, you know who the finalists are.
Yeah,
The
unfortunately.
UFC and ESPN has got to stop putting fucking fighter interviews out with 2 or 3 people before the show comes out. They did it last year, they did it this year. And have a wild fucking guess which 2 or 3 people they interview.
The finalists.
The finalists. Do you have any idea how annoying it is watching fights where you kind of just get that feeling, yeah, I think this person definitely wins because that's why they interviewed them and they didn't release all of the interviews, which would have been really sensible, put all fucking 16 interviews out. No, we're just going to release 2 or 3 just to completely destroy any tension that you may have. over who the finalists will be as you're watching. It's fucking bullshit. UFC, stop it. This was not a good season of The Ultimate Fighter. You had judges that did not really prank each other. They didn't like each other, but it wasn't like there was a lot of like good stuff between them. There wasn't good banter in the house. The fights weren't that exciting. There was one guy who was 46 years old and had a record of 5-5 and had not fought in 11 years contending. It's a joke. That being said, Zach Piver's a good fighter, and he's taking on Usman's brother. This guy I liked. This guy was like, okay, you are actually like someone who has skills and boxing. Usman's brother is a football player that is now fighting.
Yeah.
I will say no more.
So, yeah, I haven't watched. I've seen the first episode. That's it, and I haven't seen enough of anyone. I've just literally gone with the betting line on this one, and I think Pauga might be the heaviest favorite on the whole card.
He should be. He's really good.
I'm gonna go.
He's very good for the level. Like, he can actually box. He's quick. He's got good movement. Defensively, wrestling, he's good. I think he's got a decent belt in jiu-jitsu. Only thing with him is he's really going to be a light heavyweight. So he's fighting at heavyweight, and he did heavyweight in the house. But he is going to have a weight and size disadvantage against Usman. That being said, Usman did not fight good people in the house. And he really just kind of like scraps his way through. I think Zach, as long as he minds his P's and Q's, he should be able to make Usman's brother look pretty average. I'm going Piver KO.
Yeah, Pauga KO. And Sly's
going Usman. He actually specified going by name here, so I think he's just applying the Usman name value. And who can blame him? That takes us. It's understandable. We've used the same logic with Figueiredo's brother.
Yeah.
That takes us to the other tough finalist fight, women's flyweight. Juliana Miller taking on Brogan Walker. I actually like both these people. Brogan Walker hits hard, fights out of southpaw. You know, does the classic sort of like, you know, front hand quite low down, high hand guards, stop the wrestling takedowns. Juliana Miller's just very scrappy though. Good jiu-jitsu, very aggressive, a little bit like a Casey O'Neill with a little bit less skill, just not quite up to that level at that point. But she's fun. She was actually one of the better personalities in the house. She can fight. She had good fights. She's got that Pena level of striking where it's not technical, but she'll just blitz into danger just to get close and make something happen. And I really want to see her win, so I'm going to go Juliana Miller by sub.
Miller decision. Can't tell you why I've gone that way over there in betting line, so here's what it is.
And that takes us, and Sly has gone for Juliana sub. He said that name is sub written all over it. Fair play.
He hasn't seen UFC 277 yet, so that's not a ridiculous comment to make, I suppose.
This is true. Hopefully I'm going to be watching the fights of them later tonight, so I can catch them up. Right, off the tough finalists and on to some heavyweights. Augusto Sakai taking on Sergey Spivak. This is a really well-matched fight. Volume, combination, boxer taking on classic high-level wrestler. Sakai, we talked about him a lot. He moved up into a ranked position. He's good, but he moved up into a ranked position to the point when heavyweight was in a real transitional period. And his kind of place in the division is starting to become more and more apparent as he fights those people who were ranked around him. Like, I think Ty kind of pieced him up. He lost to Overeem. Who else did he lose to? I think he lost to Jarzinho. So he's had some rocky waters recently. And I don't know if Sergey Spivak's the guy that you want to have to fight when you're lacking in confidence, because he's not lacking in confidence. He's looking really good. Obviously, he had the tough loss to Tom Aspinall. No disrespect in that. He's come back really strong. I just think he's going to be in his face, man. I don't think he's going to give Sakai any time to kind of establish anything. And Sakai's problem at heavyweight, being a volume puncher, is he doesn't have anything he can throw back that's going to discourage Sergey Spivak enough for him to keep the pressure off. And I think that's going to be a big issue. Now, that being said, if he can stop the first 2 or 3 takedowns, I think there's a real chance that he wins this because he's definitely better on the feet. I just don't see him stopping 3 takedowns in a row.
No. Also, I think Spivak certainly matches him for the power. It's heavyweight, so all shots are kind of equalizers, to be honest. But yeah, I'm going Spivak KO. I think it's going to be a ground and pound finish for the pilot.
You and me both KO, and I think Sly has gone Spivak sub, which is actually not a bad pick.
It's not.
Takes us to opening fight of the card. One of my favourites, the Queen of Violence, Ariane Lipski. God, I want this chick to do well. She is so goddamn attractive, and she can strike pretty damn well. She just can't deal with people taking her down. She's taking on Priscilla Cachoeira, who also does not like it when people take her down. She is a little bit better on the ground. Lipski's definitely better on the feet, though.
Yeah.
And I like Lipski. She's been training at American Top Team in the last couple of fights. I don't think she won her last fight. I can't quite remember. But she showed huge improvements in grappling. So I've got hope. And I think she's going to put it together for this fight. I'm going Lipski.
She won her last fight. She beat Mandy Bomb Goes Boom. But she did lose to Antonina and De La Rosa before that. But yeah, I'm going to go with the Queen of Violence as well. Cachoeira can take a lot of damage. Lipsy's got those elbows. I think it's going to be a fun fight. And I'm pretty sure I've gone decision.
We're both decision.
Yeah, decision.
We're both decisions. Sly is Lipski sub. And so far, mate, you and me are basically just fucking shot for shot.
Yeah, we only have 2 fights different, and one of them's the next one.
Yeah, and you and me need to have a conversation about that.
No,
Sly's gone for Lipski as sub. Next fight. MMA legend. Friend of the show. Man, he gave us a fantastic interview.
He did.
So much time. Showed us his family. Showed us his fucking chickens.
Named one of them
Showed
Sly.
us his goddamn chickens. Named one of them Sly. Man, he needs a win. I just took it as a fucking automatic, given that we were all going to pick Sam Alvey out of respect. So then I see you making a very sensible decision of picking Michael Alexishuk, okay? Which obviously I wanted to pick, but didn't because I'm a loyal motherfucker. But no, now you've put me in this situation.
Well, I'm this close to €15 making one of you my bitch for the day. So, yeah, I went with Lord. Well, he's not Lord anymore, he's Hussar! But yeah, I'll go with Oleg Zajuk. Oleg Zajuk is small for the division, but I mean Sam Alvey's really a middleweight anyway. He's so fucking good. His hands, his chin, his defense. Alvey's this is a good matchup. I understand why after all the fights Alvey's lost, and considering retirement, I understand why they've given him Oleg Zajuk. It's just a fun fight. It's kind of a can't miss fight. I think it's going to be exciting, entertaining as hell. I really hope I'm wrong. I hope Sam kills it, but I want to win this season. So I don't think he's going to be able to finish him. He does live in a pineapple under the sea after all. So I'm going to go Oleg Zajuk by decision.
Me and Sly are going to be loyal to the people that have given time to this podcast and saying Alvey by KO.
You picked against Anders the last 2 times, right? Just checking that.
Anders didn't show us chickens.
You showed us Eddie Shaw. Oh, yeah.
Okay. Next up, we've got Terence McKinney taking on Eric Gonzalez. Terence McKinney obviously lost to Drew Dober, as we discussed on our podcast, discussing everything that happened at TFC 277. Please do give that video a watch if you have not watched it already, as we discussed many good things about Drew Dober. There is no disrespect in losing to Drew Dober. Terence McKinney's a young guy. That was a big step up for him. I think Eric Gonzalez is completely the level he should be fighting as a bounce back. I think Terence McKinney looks really good in this fight, and I think he wins. I said by KO.
Yeah, I don't really like picking against T-Rex, and Frankie Gonzalez, I think there might be something there, but Miller really really exposed them. I think T Rex is just gonna knock him the fuck out. Not right away. It's not gonna be like a 20-second fight or something stupid, but say round two, McKinney KO. Jobs are good.
Yeah, I'm with you on the KO. Sly is going McKinney sub. Which takes us to not a tough finalist, a tough winner, a tough graduate, a man who's in the UFC, established, ready to fight somebody that wasn't on his tough season. It's a big deal. It's a real step up. They've given him Takashi Sato. Now, I would usually be nervous about picking somebody this untested, but here's the thing. Alexander Petrovsky has looked really fucking good in the UFC so far. Like, really fucking good. And Brian Battle beat him pretty comprehensively. So, I think Battle might actually be something. Takashi Sato can hit hard, but he's only going to strike with him. Battle's very good on his feet. He moves around a lot. He's long, he's tall, and he's got submissions if he needs to. I think there's a lot of ways for him to win. So I'm going to say Battle by sub.
Yeah, we're going to go Battle. I'm going to go Battle by decision. I think this one could be quite close, to be honest. I am leaning Battle. And they do love putting the tough alumni on the tough finale cards as well. Saw this one coming a mile off, but yeah, I'm going Pooh Bear decision.
Nice. Which takes us to next fight up.
Oh wait, who'd Sly go?
Oh, Sly, sorry, went Battle as well. Battle by decision with you.
Nice.
I went by sub. Jason Witt is back. He is taking on Josh Quinlan, who I believe is Contender Series alumni.
Oh shit, I think so. Off the top of my head, I can't remember now.
I believe.
This is when you watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and they're like, "This is Charlie work." This is Sly
This would
work.
definitely be yeah, this would be Sly work. So he was on the Dana White Contender Series, although his win was overturned due to a positive drug test that I think was for the substance trostanolone, and that is definitely not how you spell marijuana, which means that I can't forgive it. Now, that being said, there was a lot of hype about this guy after his Contender Series win. The problem is did he look good because he's good, or did he look good because he was highly amped up on a drug called trostanolone? We're about to find out, but I'm still going to go with Quinlan as a KO.
Yeah, like assuming that it doesn't end up being a fucking no contest again, I'm gonna go with Quinlan as well. Let me double check my methods. Yeah, I've gone KO.
We all said KO. We're carpooling on that one.
Hey.
2 fights to go. Return of the Hobbit. That is Corey McKenna taking on Miranda Granger. And this is an important fight for Corey. Obviously, she beat Kay Hansen in her debut, but Kay Hansen is no longer in the UFC. Kind of makes that win not look as impressive over time. And obviously, she lost at the first UFC London this year. Miranda Granger's taller than her, longer than her, dangerous striker, not as good of a grappler. Corey needs to get on the inside, use the jiu-jitsu. I think she can. Well trained at Alpha Male. I'm going Corey McKenna. I think I said decision. I did.
Yeah, I'm going Poppins by decision as well. I still figure Team Alpha Male just counts for something in this weight class.
Yes, I think we're all agreed on that one. All going decision as well. And then opening fight of the night, Mayra Bueno Silva taking on Stephanie Egger. I've just gone Bueno Silva because I think she's a bit of a dog by decision.
I've gone Egger. I think it's a bit of a coin toss for me. I just think Egger's submission threat is going to be too much. It's just going to make Mayra kind of back up a little here and there. I just think she can take 2 rounds off Bueno Silva. So Egger decision, but honestly, it was a fucking coin toss. I think you guys both. This is my other dissenting kind of pick with Hassar.
Yeah, Sly's gone Silva, but he's gone Silva by sub. I'll tell you what, apart from a few methods, we're super similar on this one.
Easier one to pick this week. As,
True.
stylistically and also there's just there's some real dogs on this card from a betting standpoint, which sometimes the underdogs do very well. I don't think it's going to be one of those weeks. See
We
me
will
eat my
find
hat
out.
next week.
Guys, we hope you enjoyed the show. We hope you enjoy the fights as they come. Leave your picks in the comments if you want to. And as
Yeah,
always,
and,
by Laura Battery Phone.
and if you're wondering why we didn't do any hype up for the first week of PFL playoffs, leave a fucking comment and we'll do it. We're ready to do it, but we need some love. All right, we're a little needy.
Right, I'm losing light.
He's losing
light.
light.
We're gonna shoot.
Bye, Laurie.
Peace out, guys.
Bye, Dave.